Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Yevamos Mem Zayin. We are 2 lines from the bottom of Mem Vav Amud Beis. Tanu Rabbanan. Misha Bava Amar Gerani. This fellow who's presumed to be a non-Jew comes along and says, "Look, I'm a ger. I'm here." Yachal Nekablanu. Perhaps we shouldn't trust him. Talmud Leimer, no. The pasuk says itcha. The pasuk fully reads as follows: V'chiyagur itcha ger ba'aretzachem lo yisaynu oisay. It needs to be itcha, which means b'muchzak lecha, known to you as being a ger. Bo ve'edav imay minayin. He arrives with his Edom, who testified that he is a ger. How do we know he's to be trusted? Talmud Leimer v'chiyagur itcha ger ba'aretzachem. Rashi says v'chiyagur itcha is in all situations, even though you didn't actually observe the gerus, you can trust them. The Gemara soon will ask, well, of course, Edom is the best. What is the chiddush? The Brisa continues, Ein li ela ba'aretz. Perhaps you can only accept gerim in Eretz Yisrael. Tosfos asks, it's unrelated to the land. Why would you think it's specific to Eretz Yisrael? He says, because it says ba'aretzachem. Maybe only when we live in Eretz Yisrael can we accept our gerim. B'chutz l'Eretz Minayim. What about Eretz Yisrael? Outside Eretz Yisrael, Talmud Leimer itacha, which means b'chol makom she'itcha, wherever you are. So why does the pasuk even mention ba'aretzachem? To draw that line between Eretz and Chutz l'Eretz. Ba'aretz, if he comes in Eretz Yisrael, tzarech lahavi raya. He comes and claims that he's a Yisrael. Perhaps he's been attracted by the milk and honey of Eretz Yisrael. You can't trust him. He has to prove and ascertain his identity. But if it's outside Eretz Yisrael, in which case there's nothing motivating him to join other than altruistic motives, so there's no need for him to prove his identity. He says, I'm a Jew, you believe him. Divid Rabbi Yehuda, who draws that line between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz l'Eretz. It makes no difference wherever you are, you have to prove your identity. Bein ba'aretz, bein b'chutz l'Eretz, tzarech lavi raya. Whether you're in Eretz Yisrael or outside, you need to prove that you had gerus. Let's go back to the Brisa where we learned Vahu ve'edav imay. He comes with his Edom, who testify on his behalf, he is to be believed. Why? Because we have the pasuk of V'chiyagur, which teaches us this works. Kra lamali. Why do we need a pasuk if he has Edom who testify about his gerus? Omar av sheshes, the Amri, all they're saying is like this: Shamanu shenis gayer bebezin shalploini. We actually heard that he converted in this and this bezin. We didn't actually see it, but we heard about it. That's enough. Perhaps I would say, we can't trust that. We can't believe them. They're not testifying first-hand information. The chiddush is, we do. And the Farshim explain, because it's something which is pretty much known or will be known one way or the other. It's not something which is done in hiding or secretly. So when they say, look, we heard that the other Bezdin took care of it, we believe them, and we can go with that. So the Brisa says, ba'aretz. That would teach us, ainli ela ba'aretz, only in Eretz Yisrael can we accept a ger. B'chutz l'Eretz Minayim, what about outside Eretz Yisrael? Talmud Leimer itcha. Itcha tells you, b'chol makom she'itcha, wherever you are. V'ha'fikte. Haven't we already learned something from that word itcha back in the beginning of the Brisa? Right? You can't just accept any ger. It needs to be itcha b'muchzak lecha. That pasuk is unavailable to teach us this new halacha. Answers the Gemara. Chada mi itcha v'chada mi imach. The pasuk has the word itcha and imach to tell you both halachas. Right? As she says, imcha is ger v'toisha v'chay imach. They say, look, there's no difference between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz l'Eretz. Either way, you have to prove that you're a Yisrael. Bein ba'aretz, Bein b'chutz la'aretz tzarech lahavi raya. You have to prove. Ve'ala aksiv ba'aretz. Why does the pasuk stress ba'aretz if there's no difference? Ha'omi ba'ile. That's coming to tell you da'afilu ba'aretz. Me'kablim gerim. Even in Eretz Yisrael we accept gerim. Why not? The sakadaitacha mina mishum tivusa. Eretz Yisrael kamagari. They're coming to enjoy the bliss of Eretz Yisrael. I would think we can't accept them unless they're l'shem shemayim. And the chiddush is no. Even in Eretz Yisrael we can trust that they mean l'shem shemayim. Their intentions are genuine. And the Gemara adds, "V'ashta namid lecha tivusa." Even nowadays we don't experience the Eretz Zavas Cholav Advash, but still there's some perks that you have in Eretz Yisrael which you don't have otherwise. Ika leket, shikcha, upeya, umasir ani. You have all these portions of the grain which are left for the aniyim. Perhaps that's why the ani is the ger is coming to join in order to get his social benefits. Kamash Malon, the chiddush is we're not concerned. Amar Rabbi Bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yechon, halacha, the halacha l'maisa is as follows: Bein ba'aretz, bein b'chutz la'aretz, wherever you are, tzarech lavi raya. You need to prove that you are a ger. You can't just come and sell your story. Pshita, of course, yachid v'rabim, halacha k'rabim. We have Rabbi Yehuda Shita who says, well, in the chutz la'aretz, you don't need a raya. We assume that he's speaking the honest truth, as opposed to the Chachamim who disagree with that, and they say wherever you are, you have to prove it. Of course, we follow the Rabbim, Maudatema, perhaps you would say Mistaver, Taimed, Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Shita is more plausible than Mekamasai Lekroi, because the Psukim seem more in line with Rabbi Yehuda than the Rabbanon. Because, as we said, in the Rabbanon we have to work it out. Why would I think, why would I think, why would I need ba'aretz? That's coming to tell you that even Eretz Yisrael we accept. So Rabbi Yehuda's Shita seems to be more on track, more in line with the Psukim, the Kamasai Lekroi, Kamashmon, the Chiddush is no, even so, we pass like the Rabbanon, and the point is you have to prove that you are a ger. Tana Rabbanon. Ushfatetem tzedek bein ish, ubein achiv, ubein gerei. So the pasuk here associates gerus, conversion, with mishpat, with bezd. Mikan Amar Rabbi Yehuda, ger shenis gar bebezin. I raise a ger if a ger converted in a bezin in front of dayanim, that works. Beinoy lebein atzmai, if he just did it on his own, einoy ger, that doesn't work. In fact, there was a story Maasa be'echad. Shabal lefnei Rabbi Yehuda, this fellow approached Rabbi Yehuda, but Amar Lein, he tells him, they assumed this fellow was Jewish, and he says, look, I'll give you some history. This gayarti, beini. You should know, I became a ger on my own. No dayanim, no bezin. Oma loy Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda responds, Yesh lecha edim? Do you have edim that you became a ger? Oma loy, no, lav, no. Yesh lecha banim? What about some children? Oma loy hen, yeah, I actually have children. And basically, he is now affecting his own lineage and his children's. They can't marry kohanim, right? So what happens? Is he believed or not? Amar loy, Rabbi Yehuda tells him, look, Neman ato livsalas atzmecha. We believe what you say with respect to yourself. You believe on yourself, but we don't believe the other part. V'iato neman livsalas banecha. We don't trust you with respect to your children. We sort of split your testimony in half. A person's believed on himself, but you can't adversely affect your children. Now we just assume that they're full-fledged Yisraelim. Says the Gemara, Umi on Rabbi Yehuda abanim lebehemen. Rabbi Yehuda holds he's not trusted regarding his children. Vatanya, Yaakov, pasuk says that a father lets it be known that his son is the bechor and he gets double portion. Yaakov, we learn Yakirenu lacherim. He identifies his child to the others as well. So he informs the public regarding the identity of his child. That's the drasha. What do we learn from here? How do we apply this? Mikan Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Neman Adam Leimar Zebni Bechar. One is to be trusted if he says, look, this son, that one over there, that's my Bechar. A father has ne'emanis. Ukashem she'neman Leimar Ze Bini Bechar. Just as you can say this is a Bechar, Kach Neman Leimar Bini Ze Ben Grushahu Oy Ben Chalutzahu. Likewise, a father has the ability to make his son puzzle. Say, look, I know for a fact this son has been produced from my relationship with a grusha, I'm a kohen, I married a grushan. This is the son, or ben chalutza, and there as well. The son is now pasal. He's a chalal. He has ne'emanus. A father was granted the ability to testify regarding the identity of his children. No, there's no such a thing. We don't trust the father when he speaks about his child being a apostle. Okay, but according to Rabbi Yehuda, he is. So why then, in this case of the purported ger, does Rabbi Yehuda tells him, no, you trusted regarding yourself, but we don't believe regarding the children. You can't make them apostle. Why not? The father has that ability. Amar of Nachum bar Yitzchak, he meant to tell him as follows. Sure, typically a father is ne'eman, but here it's different, because lidvarecha, according to what you're saying, according to your own account, that your gerus is invalid. It turns out that you're a guy. A guy doesn't have ne'emanis. He can't testify. We don't accept edus from you. So either way, we don't affect the children. Even if you're going to be believed, which means that you're not really Yisrael, then certainly you can't be believed regarding the children. Ravina Amar Hachika Amarle. According to Ravina meant as follows. Typically, a father is ne'eman when speaking about his child. He asked him like this: Yesh lecha banim? Do you have children? Hein, yes. Yesh lecha bnei banim? Do you have grandchildren? Hein, yes, I do. On that he responded, Amar loy ne'eman ato lifsal banecha. Sure, a father's ne'eman to speak about his children. Ve'ein ato ne'eman lifsal bnei banecha, but not your grandchildren. So you can't affect them. Tan yunami hachi. We learned likewise in a brayse this difference between children and grandchildren. Rabbi Yehuda ne'eman adam leimar al bnei katan. A father is to be believed when he speaks about the status of his young child. Ve'ein ne'eman al bnei gadol, but not on his older child. What does this mean? V'amar Rabbi Chia bar Amar Rabbi Yechanan loy katan mamish. The word katan is not referring to under bar mitzvah. V'loy gadol mamish. Gadol is not referring to an adult. Ella rather, katan means a child that doesn't have his own children. Ella katan v'yesh le banim. If he's a youngster but he has children, zeo gadol. That is called a gadol in this regard. So katan and gadol has nothing to do with age. Below bar mitzvah, above bar mitzvah, or just younger and older. That's not what we're speaking about. Katan means he's on his own. He has no offspring of his own. But if he does, zehu gadol. That's a gadol upon who the father is not ne'eman, because it affects the grandchild. Gadol ve'ein lebanim. You have an older child who has no children of his own. Zehu katan. He's a katan with respect to this halacha, and the father is ne'eman because the father is ne'eman on his child as long as it doesn't carry over to the grandchild. Clearly we see there's a difference between ne'emanis of a father on a child or further down the line. So what's the halacha l'mais? Say the Rav Nachum bar Yitzchak that no, in this case of the ger, he's not ne'eman at all, nothing at all. As we explained, because mimanav shach. If we're going to take on your account as true that you were misgayer privately, then it doesn't work. You're a guy, and in any case, you're not going to be believed. So we discount the whole testimony with respect to the children. What do you mean about Tanika Vasei de Ravina? We just brought a brisa which supported Ravina. A father is to be believed regarding just his children. The more figures, it means even a ger who's speaking about this incomplete gerus. No, ahu, that brisa le'inin yakir itmar, speaking about establishing his son's status regarding other halachas. A bachar, ben grusha, ben chalutza, but if he says, look, I became my own ger, that wouldn't work because, as we explained, we go around in circles. If we trust you, then you're not a yid, then you're not a yid, you have no ne'emanis, nothing to talk about. Tan Rabban. So how do we treat gerim? How's the process done? Ger shabal is ger. Bisman hazeh, a ger arrives. He wants to become a ger. Look, we try to discourage and dissuade him. Mara Isa, Shabasal is Gair. What brought you to this point? Why are you even coming? Don't you know we're downtrodden? Don't you know what we're going through? Look, Yisrael nowadays is on Gullus, Devuyim, the Chufim. Devuyim is a state of sadness. The Chufim pushed around. Sechufim, Rashi says Shvelim, we're like downtrodden, and we're too rough, and we're just haphazard and frazzled. V'yisurin boin aleim, and Klal Yisrael, unfortunately, experiences much hardship in Golus. Why would you even come to us? Okay, how does he respond? By the way, the Mesechas Gerim also has this lashon, and it's very detailed there. He says that we have a lot of cholim and yisurim, and do you know the doctors who attend to the oncology departments in hospitals? They say it's just a wondrous phenomenon that a large percentage, a disproportionate percentage of patients in oncology departments throughout the major hospitals are Jewish people. Way more than their, way more than their, it's disproportionate. It's amazing that, Klal Yisrael are more sensitive. We're more delicate people. Hashem looks after us, keeps us in shape. So Lo Yaleinu, they were speaking to the Ger and we're saying, look what's going on. Why would you even come? Why do you contemplate joining Klal Yisrael? Im Omer, if he says, look, Yadani, I made my research. I know what's going on. Ve'eni kedai, I'm not even worthy of joining you. I wish I could join you. Then we know that he's for real. Mikabel and Oisa, we accept. Miyad, right away, without hesitation. So initially we try to, dissuade him, but we see that he's on it. We take him in. Umaydin Oisoi, we inform him somewhat. Miktas mitzvahs, some of the mitzvahs. Kalis, some of the easier mitzvahs, which pretty much, highlights the point that we're so careful with even little things. So easy mitzvahs. That's also on the agenda. Umiktas mitzvahs chamuras, and some of the more severe, mitzvahs, averis. We give him a taste, a sprinkling of this, a sprinkling of that. One more thing, we speak to him about financial things. You should know there's a lot of tzedakah going on by us. Klal Yisrael are going to chasadim by nature. A yid likes to give. We have leket, shikha, peah, etc. Are you ready for that? We tell him about the punishment for one who ignores the mitzvahs and does the averis. We tell him it's not all roses. There's a consequences. There's an einish for one neglects the mitzvahs. Before you arrived, before you come to this, before you consider joining us, you're a free man. No inhibitor, no restrictions, almost none. You can eat chaylev without a concern. Chilalta Shabbos, Chil Shabbos doesn't bring skila. But now all things changed. Achalta chaylev, if you eat chaylev, onish kares. The result is kares. Chilalta Shabbos, if you were machal Shabbos, onish skila. It's serious business. Now we got them all scared up. We coated it with a little bit, with love, with warmth. We tell them about the positive aspect of Yiddishkeit. We tell them about the schar awaiting us after a couple of years down in this world. We tell them, the world to come. Einoi Sofan is designated, set aside. Elul tzaddik, if you be a tzaddik, you'll be zeicha. V'Yisrael b'zman hazeh, or ba'olam hazeh, according to some girses, But when Yisrael are still in this world, in the Olam Hazeh, limited world, Einam Yuchelim L'Kabel, it's not meant for this world. The schar is not for here. We can't tolerate Lo Roiv Teva, not too much goodness. Rashi says the Yetzer Hara is just running after us, and if we're too wealthy and too successful, we're going to become haughty and boastful. The Gemara in Beitzah says the Jewish nation are the most, how should I say, I don't want to say arrogant, but Azan Shebu Umeis Yisrael. We're brazen. So Hashem keeps us tempered, keeps us in place. Not too much teva. V'lo roiv puranos, likewise, we're not overwhelmed by puranos, by hardship. It's just somewhere in the middle. So we give him this brief description. We package Yiddishkeit to him, and we tell it to him the way it is. Ve'emar ben olav, we don't make it too difficult. We don't, throw an avalanche of words and threats and fear on him. We give it to him in a tempered fashion. Ve'em olav, nor are we too detailed when we speak about the Averis. We give him a general description and suffice with that. Kibel, if he's ready to accept. Molen oisum miyad, we send him straight to the moil for a bris milah, and it has to be a proper bris, like a Yisrael, nishtari b'it sitz, and a ma'akvan samila. In fact, if there are these strands of flesh in the area of the milah which invalidate the milah, chayzrim u'molen oisei shniya, we have to redo it to remove those strands. The strape, once he heals, matbil noisum miyad, straight to the mikvah. Ushnei tamid chachamim oimdim al gabav. We have two tamid chachamim. The Gemara soon will tell us actually you need three. Who are the bezdin? They stand right there. Moedin oisai miktas mitzvahs kalois, miktas mitzvahs chamurois. Right at that point, when he's about to be tovel, we inform him once again about the mitzvahs, a little of these, a little of those, because at that point it's serious business. He has to be makabel oil mitzvahs, as Rashi says. Rashi here is on the fourth line from the top. Moedin oisai miktas mitzvahs, says Rashi. The hashtag de tefillah, because right now through the tefillah who nichnas l'chal geras, this is for real. Hilkach b'shas tefillah, at the moment of tefillah mitzvah, b'shas tefillah's mitzvah, tzorach lekabel of il mitzvahs, he needs to really commit himself to the mitzvahs. Continues the Gemara taval, so he's tavel va'olah and comes back up. That's it. He's born anew, mazel tov. Hareyo ki Yisrael l'chol dvarav. What about an isha? How is she going to be tavel? Noshem moyeshivois oisa b'mayim atzavar. You have women who tend to her, get her down to her neck, so she's covered with water all the way to the neck, which is proper for tznius. Ushnei tamid chachamim oimdim lam b'chutz. You have two men tamid chachamim standing outside, and in this state they call out to her and they inform her once again about those mitzvahs. Moedin oisa mitzvahs mitzvahs kalois u'mitzvahs mitzvahs chamuros. They give her a little bit of the lighter mitzvahs, of the heavier mitzvahs, and then she is tovel in their presence. Echad ger v'echad eved meshuchrar. This applies to a real ger or a eved kanani, who already was tovel before being purchased by the Yisrael, or as he was getting ready to work for the Yisrael. In which case he's somewhat entered the domain of Kol Yisrael. He's chayiv in some mitzvahs, but then when he's released from enslavement, he's going to become a full-fledged Yisrael. At that point, he needs to be tovel once again. That's the culmination of his transition to Yisrael. What type of tefillah? U'b'makam shenida tevel sham. That same type of mikvah which a nida needs. Taisus has a lot of richas. How do we even know that a nida needs tefillah? One of the psukim he says is ach b'mei nida yischata. We learned that mayim shanida tevelas behem, which is mem. Oh, very interesting. There is really no straight pasuk that a nida needs tefillah. We assume it as pashut, and that's the basis of the halach here. The same place a nida's tevel. U'b'makam shenida tevel sham. Ger, when he becomes a yid, ve'eved meshuchrar here as well, toivlin, they need to be tovel in the same place, meaning a mikveh. V'chol davar shechoytes b'tefillah. What about the chatzitzos, barriers between water and flesh? The same idea that applies to anida or to tuma. Choytes beger, ve'eved meshuchrar, u'benida likewise over here, just like a tameh can have chatzitzos, likewise all these individuals. Amar. Ger Shaboli is Gair, as the Ger approaches us, we tell him, Maro Yisa Shabosli is Gair, what got into your mind? Why are you even coming? Umidin, my son Mikzas Mitzvahs Kalois, or Mikzas Mitzvahs Chamuros, we tell him a little bit of these and a little bit of those. My time, why do we give him a hard time? Why don't we just accept him the first time? The answer is the parish, because if he's not really committed and he's sort of his commitment is sort of shaken, nifresh, let him leave right now. We don't need a ger who's going to get into trouble later on. The phenomenon of these gerim coming and joining Klal Yisrael when they're not really fully committed. That's according to the last pshat in Tosfos. The first pshat in Tosfos, that many times they're not really experts and knowledgeable in the halachas. The last pshat in Tosfos is that it's difficult for Klal Yisrael to treat them properly. There are all kinds of mitzvahs, and it's very severe. The whole concept of mistreating a ger, one has to be very sensitive to a ger, and on the most part, Tosfos says, very often, it's very difficult for Jews to be to exhibit the proper a level of sensitivity to the goy, to the ger, I should say, and therefore Yisraelim will get inevitably will get punished, and therefore it's a very difficult phenomenon. So we find lashon v'nisbach pertaining to the ger joining Klal Yisrael, and that's why we learn koshem gerim lisolkes apachas. Apachas is a type of a nega. So it's just equating it to a nega. Basically, we're saying it's a difficult thing, which has which just complicates things, like as I explained, and therefore we want to make sure that it's done properly. We want to make sure that he's really committed, and we're very selective in whom and when we take people. Continues the Gemara. The question is, we already told him some of the mitzvahs kalois, some of the mitzvahs chamuros. Why do we specifically have to add these mitzvahs as well, pertaining to monetary matters and tzedakah? My time. The reason is as follows. We know that Ben Noach, a non-Jew, is nerag al pachas mishav pruta. Even if he steals less than a pruta's worth, whatever he gets misa. As we know that Gezela, one of the Isser of stealing, is one of the Sheva Mitzvahs Ben Noach. If he transgresses any one of those, he gets Misa. And even just a small amount, even less than a Pruta, V'lo nitan li shavan, and likewise, if he steals, it cannot be returned, it's over. There's no halacha of returning a Gezela, in contrast to a Yisrael who steals, it can return. So we see from here that when it comes to a guy, they're very particular. Rashi says they're very makpid. Even a little bit, a guy is very possessive about his money. A Yisrael is mavatar, easygoing in a way. A Pruta is not too concerned about it. As we explained, by Klal Yisrael, there's an inborn character trait of chesed. It's just inborn, natural, by birth. And therefore, we're not so particular about every little, mini-witty little thing, and as long as it's less than a pruta, we're meichel. A goy is very particular, very possessive, and therefore, even less than a pruta is considered gezela. And the bottom line is, according to the second pshat in Rashi, the bottom line is, we want to make sure that this goy / ger is prepared to be generous, to give, to allow the aniyim to come take the leket, the shikha, the peah, and this perhaps might scare him off more than anything else. And therefore, we go ahead and we actually mention this particular mitzvah. But we stop right there. We don't overdo it. We don't scare him off. Ve'in mar ben olav. We don't add too much. Ve'in medachtik olav. We don't go into such great detail. We give him the general picture and we allow him to make his own decision. How do we know this? Where do we find this in the pasuk? This is by one of the most famous converts, Rus. So what does it say? Vateire kimis ametzis he leleches ita. Right. So then Naomi notices that Rus is. She means it seriously. She's really misametzah. She's making that effort to come along with her. But techtal daber eleo, she stopped dissuading her. That's it. She backed off. She saw she meant it seriously. Initially, she tried to discourage her. But when she saw she's really serious, she let her come. So how did the conversation go? As we see in the Psukim, there was some sort of back and forth. She starts off by telling her, look, you want to join the nation? It's very difficult to keep the halachas. You know, we have limitations even as far as walking on Shabbos. We can't go past the Tchum Shabbos. Are you willing to accept that? She responds, certainly 100%. Ba'asher teilchi elich. That's embedded in these words. Look, wherever you walk, I walk. I'm willing to abide by the laws of Tchum Shabbos. Next, you should know, Asr lon yichud. Yichud is Asr. We can't interact with men. She responds, Ba'asher talini olan. This was directly related to her point. Fine, I'm ready to be without yichud. Wherever you sleep over, I sleep over. She says, look, it's not just that. Guess what? 613 mitzvahs. You ready to accept that? Pretty big. Mifakdinan sheish meis v'yidgimel mitzvahs. We have 613 mitzvahs. She responds, no problem. Amech, your nation is mine. She says, Asher lana b'yis kechav. We can't engage with idol worship. Ve'eloikayich eloikai. Your God is mine. She continues further. Arba misa is nimsur lebezdin. No joke. Bezdin has the authority to apply 4 different types of forms of death as retribution, as an einish for various averos. Are you ready for that? Yes. Ba'asher temusi amus. Your death is mine. Beis kvarim nimsur lebezdin. It doesn't stop there. Even when it comes to burial, Bezdin has very specific places where they bury transgressors. There were 2 separate cemeteries. One for the more serious transgressors, one for the lighter ones. It's all worked out, even after death. There's a process. There is a punishment for an Oiver Avera. Are you ready for that? V'shame cover. I'll be buried right there with you. I'm ready for everything. Miyad, immediately, V'atera kimus hamesetzi. She sees that she's pushing and she wants. She accepted her. Getting back to the Bryce, we learned Kibel, if he accepts the conditions, Mol and Oisa Miyad, right away we do Mila. My time, why right away? Shehuye mitzvah lemashina, we never procrastinate, we don't delay a mitzvah. Nishtayru b'yitzitz and amakvan samila, if there was some strands of flesh left over, it has to be tended to. There's none, like we find in Maseches Shabbos. Elohein tzitzin amakvan samila, what constitutes those tzitzin which interfere, which disqualify the Mila? To what extent? Basar chayfer esroiv ha'atara. So at the tip of the Eivar Zachar, there's some roundish, softish flesh, which is called an atara, which rises beyond the circumference of the Eivar. So if there's some erla skin which is covering roiv of that atara, so it has to be attended to. Ve'enoich v'truma. At that point, he cannot eat truma. It's considered an erl until it's removed. It doesn't necessarily mean roiv of the atara circumference. Rather, basar ha'chayfe roiv goiva shel ataras. Even if it's just some flesh at one point of the atara, but the flesh is sort of covering, blocking most of the goiva of the height of the atara. So you have the atara going around the aver, and it's elevated, so to speak. The aver is going here, and the atara is around the aver. So if there's some flesh which rises next to the atara, even rises most way up at one point of the atara, that has to be removed. Nisrapi matbil noisem miyad. Wait for the wound to heal. Went through surgery. We do wait for that, and then we send them to the mikveh. Nisrapi in only after healing. Lo nisrapi lo, but not beforehand. My time of why mishum demai, because water can harm it. Marzu maka interferes. It delays the healing process, and therefore we wait for that. We have the 2 Talmidei Chachamim there too. Ger tzorich shloisha, 3 dayanim are needed. You're right that Rabbi Yechon actually mentioned to the Tana, Tani shloisha. You should change it to 3. Whether Rabbi Yechon spoke to the Tana or he spoke to an Amoira who presented the Bryce. In any case, we switch it to 3 as per the number of dayanim needed in a bezdin. Tov ava'allah. Okay, after the tefillah comes up, Hareu ki Yisrael chol dvarav, welcome to Klal Yisrael. Why you mentioned this in that pashut? Here's a chiddush. He hadarbe. Even if he reverts, he says, "Oh, I changed my mind. I want to become a god." Umekadesh bas Yisrael. So he goes back to the lifestyle of the goyish lifestyle, and then he does kedushin to bas Yisrael. Those kedushin are valid. Why Yisrael mumur karina be? We consider him a wayward Yisrael. He's still Yisrael. Once he was in his guard properly, that's it. No return. No kedushin of kedushin. Therefore, his kedushin is something which takes effect. Okay, let's go back and review today's daf. We discussed the sugya of gerus. The maskana was that gerus is applicable wherever we are in Eretz Yisrael or in Chutz La'aretz. It has to be done in front of 3 dayanim. Edom come along and say, "Look, we happen to hear that he became a ger. That's sufficient." Now, is there any difference between ne'emanis and Eretz Yisrael or Chutz La'aretz? According to Rabbanan, no. According to Rabbi Yehuda, out of Eretz Yisrael, where there is no real attraction to come join us except for L'Shem Shemaim, Rabbi Yehuda maintains, based on a pasuk, he doesn't have to prove his identity. We trust him. Okay, this fellow comes along and says, "I became a ger beini lebein atzmi." So up until now, we spoke about a proper valid gerus which took place in the presence of dayanim. Now he says, "Look, I did my own gerus, which we know doesn't work." Is he to be believed? On himself, he's believed, but on his children, says Reb Nachman Bar Yitzchak, of course not, because Mamanav Shach. If he's not a yid and he's a guy, we don't believe him in any case. According to Ravina's pshat, according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says Yaker grants a father authority to testify regarding the status of his children, even in this case he would be trusted regarding the identity of his children, but not his grandchildren. So how does the gerus process play out? He comes to the Bezdin, he wants to be a ger, we start discouraging him. Don't you know how downtrodden we are? Why don't you find yourself a better nation to join? The point is, we want him to leave if he's not really committed fully. As we explained, a ger has to be really 100%, otherwise there's just trouble. Okay, we see that he's serious. We inform him some of the mitzvahs, some of the lighter ones, some of the more severe ones. We tell him about the tzedakah aspect of Klal Yisrael, but we don't overdo it, we don't make it too difficult. And once he's ready, we do milah. We wait for the milah to heal, and we send him to the mikveh. While he's being toivel, the bezdin's right there on site, and ensure that he's makabel el mitzvahs as he's being toivel. And as we learned at the end of the daf, once that's done, it's done. Done deal. There's no return. And if he chas v'shalom turns away from Yiddishkeit, he's held accountable and responsible. Yisrael afal pi shechata. He'll always be a Yisrael. All the best to you, and all my thoughts.